The MCU has brought so many different Marvel characters and stories to life, and the culmination of everything from the start to what it is now has truly been something special. Since the beginning of the MCU, people have theorized, speculated, and rumored about countless characters, suits, team-ups, and events. Since the end of the Infinity Saga, the multiverse was introduced, giving us a sense of hope to all of these fan theories with infinite possibilities. And while the MCU was going to stick to one connected storyline that has been planned out for a long time, they revealed a project that dove straight into all the scenarios that fans created inside their heads. What If explored these infinite possibilities, showcasing ends of the multiverse that never came about in live action. It gave fans all they've ever wanted to satisfy all those theories they've made over the years. Or did it? After 3 seasons, What If has concluded, and here's why it is Marvel's biggest missed opportunity. Just like any other Marvel project, What If has a connected storyline, both within each season and the overall series. But for this case, exploring the infinite possibilities within the multiverse, I'm going to pick episodes from each season, analyze them, and group them all together on what was really necessary here. We all know that the fans and the general public don't really have much say into what stories actually get made from Marvel. But the MCU has been running for 17 years now, so they should have a pretty good idea of what popular theories have come along on its journey. Nevertheless, What If has given us some pretty interesting ideas, so let's analyze all of these episodes and figure out where Marvel truly went wrong with this. We're going to do all of this in reverse order, starting with the best, well-executed, most necessary episodes first, because as you will see as we go further along into this, the numbers are going to increase drastically. Starting off with the top episodes of What If, I'm going to call this group Well Done Marvel. Starting with the top episode of the entire series, Season 1, Episode 4, What If Doctor Strange Lost His Heart Instead of His Hands? Next, we're going to have Season 1, Episode 8, What If Ultron Won? And we're going to tie in Season 1, Episode 9, What If the Watcher Broke His Oath? Because it's basically a part 2 to the previous episode. And lastly in this group, we have Season 1, Episode 3, What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes? It's noted that all these episodes came in Season 1, by the way. A lot of people say that What If peaked with Episode 4, the Doctor Strange episode, and honestly, they're not entirely wrong with this. They took a very interesting concept which could have very well happened in the movie Doctor Strange and put it on its flip side. What if Doctor Strange kept reversing time to try to save his loved ones? And it ended up being a great episode. Season 1, Episodes 8 and 9, the finale of Season 1, the What If Ultron Had One scenario. I think this is a great concept for What If. You take an Avengers villain from the MCU who had all the means and resources necessary to win, and you let him win. I think this was amazing. Getting to see what Ultron turned into was really cool, and it makes sense, and I think this was a great concept for What If. And lastly, Season 1, Episode 3, What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes? You take a world where there are no Avengers. They all get taken out of the world. I think they did it in a very interesting way, letting Hank Pym go one by one and eliminate all the Avengers. I think that was a cool way to do it. But that is a concept overall that people imagined about. What if there were no heroes in the first place? And I think they did a great job with it. Moving on to the next category of episodes. I'm going to call this one, I'm on board with that. These are all concepts I didn't necessarily think of when What If was announced. But as the show went further along, I really respected these, and these ended up being very solid episodes for me. We got Season 1, Episode 5, What If Zombies, a very popular scenario in the Marvel Comics, and hey, it even got its own spin-off show coming out in late 2025. Season 1, Episode 6, What If Killmonger Rescued Tony Stark? We really didn't think this would happen at all, but it makes sense a little bit, and I thought it was a very interesting episode, and they did a good job with it. Season 2, Episode 2, What If Peter Quill Attacked Earth's Mightiest Heroes? When you think about it, it's actually a pretty cool concept. What if Ego came down to Earth in 1988 or whenever it was, and attacked Earth instead with Peter Quill? I thought they did a good job with this, and it was an interesting concept. Season 2, Episode 7, What If Hela Found the 10 Rings? This is a scenario nobody would have thought of, but when you have the 10 rings and you have Hela, I think you combine those two cool things, and we got a pretty interesting episode that I really liked. And our first appearance from Season 3, Episode 5, What If the Emergence Destroyed the Earth? We finally have something new Eternals. We haven't gotten anything from that since the movie, even though it was reversed. But what if Tiamat ended up following through with his emergence and it destroyed the Earth? I think this is a super cool concept concept. Having Mysterio be the villain was so dope, and the choice of Ironheart was very interesting, to say the least, but it did make me like her character more, and I thought this was a great episode. Next up, I'm calling this group Taking the Safe Route. Now, some people may have loved these episodes. Some people may have disliked these episodes. But at the end of the day, Marvel could afford for these to at least be filler episodes in the series because they all kind of make sense. The first episode of the series, Season 1, Episode 1, What If Captain Carter Were the First Avenger? And we're going to tag on Season 2, Episode 5, What If Captain Carter Fought the Hydra Stomper? Because it's kind of a continuation of that story. And yes, we're gonna get on Captain Carter in a little bit here, you'll see why. Season 1, Episode 2, What If T'Challa Became a Star-Lord? This was basically just a character swap. Let's have the Ravagers just abduct T'Challa instead of Star-Lord. But it was a pretty good episode. Good start to the series. Season 3, Episode 1, What If the Hulk Fought the Mech Avengers? I think having like a big Gundam Hulk fight was pretty cool, but it was kinda, I don't know, dry in a way. I mean, they could have gone really full out here, but I feel like there wasn't as much effort put into this episode. And lastly, Season 3, Episode 3, What If the Red Guardian Stopped the Winter Soldier? I think this was a very likely scenario, having Russia send the Red Guardian out to stop the Winter Soldier. I think it could have happened, but I mean, the agenda of pushing the Red Guardian into everything and then continuing the episode of some kind of this like buddy cop road trip movie between the two characters, it didn't really work for me. This next category I'm calling You're Dragging By. You almost lost me with these episodes, What If. Hey, maybe they had one or two redeeming qualities that helped me get through these, but it was just barely. What a great kickoff to the second season of What If. Season 2, Episode 1, What If Nebula Joined the Nova Corps? I honestly, shout out to Nebula, but who wants to see a What If episode centered around that character? Season 2, Episode 4, What If Iron Man Crashed into the Grandmaster? I thought the little race with Iron Man and Gamora was kind of cool, but why are we taking a Thor Ragnarok story and just placing it's a character swap, and it was just weird. Season 2, Episode 6, What If Kahori Reshaped the World? This is where it doesn't make sense to me. And this is not a knock on Kahori as a character. I thought it was kind of interesting. But this is a what if show. Alright, this is taking scenarios from the Marvel universe, from the MCU, from the characters we know, and placing them in unexpected scenarios and things that we've theorized about. You created a brand new character in Kahori and just told her story. That isn't a what if to me. A character we've never seen, that isn't a what if. So that's kind of why it's in this category. And lastly, Season 3, Episode 6, What If 1872? I don't understand why we needed to go back in time here. And hey, let's make Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop like Western sheriffs and outlaws and stuff like that. I thought the hood was kind of cool. And then obviously it makes sense. Kate Bishop's the sharpshooter, gotta have Hawkeye as that. But it was kind of what was the point of this episode? And last but certainly least, I'm calling this category What If These Didn't Happen? These episodes all made me question the existence of the show in the first place. What was the point of all of these? There was no point. Why did anybody want to see this? We didn't want to see this. Marvel, I don't know what you were doing with these. Season 1, Episode 7, What If Thor Were an Only Child? Season 1 was overall pretty good. It was high quality episodes. But then you throw in this one towards the end. Let's do an episode about Thor, and let's just have him be a big party or go around and party around the galaxy and all this. What was the point of this? This completely threw off Season 1 for me, redeemed itself with the finale, but this was just why did we have this? Season 2, Episode 3, What If Happy Hogan Saved Christmas? This episode completely takes my argument about Nebula, hey, let's take an episode and center it around her, but double and triple down on it, because everybody wants to see a what if episode on what else Happy Hogan could have done in the MCU. Come on guys, we all want to see that, right? Season 2, Episode 8, What If the Avengers Assembled in 1602? This was kind of the first throwback back in time episode that What If introduced outside of the 1872 episode. And I thought it was an interesting concept, and I liked seeing the title when it first came out, and I was kind of excited for it. But then I found out that it was a Captain Carter-centered episode, which we will get to. And that completely threw it off for me. And yeah, that's why this episode is down here. Season 2, Episode 9, What If Strange Supreme Intervened? Let's take a character from the best episode in the entire series and place him in the Season 2 finale in hopes to save the season. I liked the concept of that. But then they make Captain Carter the most powerful human being in the entire multiverse, pretty much, to fight him, and you lost it. I'm trying to save my Captain Carter arguments and conversations for the end here, but she keeps getting brought up. You see what the problem is. Season 3, Episode 2, what if Agatha went to Hollywood? Hey, there's another character they're pushing the agenda on, Agatha. Agatha Harkness in WandaVision was great. Agatha all along, I couldn't get through, but everyone loved, so I'll let that slide. I after seeing the reviews and response to it, I will say, hey, maybe she was worthy of a show. But this episode right here, why do we need this episode between Agatha and Kingo and like a Bollywood, Hollywood big musical production? Like, what was this? This was awful. Season 3, Episode 4, what if Howard the Duck got hitched? This is just, oh my goodness. This is the culmination of everything that is wrong with What If right here. Let's take Howard the Duck, who people like the character, but he's not you don't make an episode around him. Hey, let's take Darcy too. We like her character too, but you don't center an episode around her. What if we make these two the co-stars of an episode? But let's have them have a baby together too? What if no one imagines this? What if? No one imagines any Marvel characters in love, especially not these two. Like, hey, let's ship the Captain America Black Widow. Like, we saw him in Winter Soldier, da-da-da-da. Maybe that, yeah. But Darcy and Howard the Duck? And they have a kid? Why is this an episode? Season 3, Episode 7, what if the Watcher disappeared? Another one, I saw the title of this before the season came out. That's actually really interesting right there. The Watcher has gone against his oath multiple times, intervened. So I wonder what's going to happen when he finally screws up and, No. Guess who decides to sneak in and make it her episode again? Good old Captain Carter. So that's why this episode's all the way down here. Season 3, Episode 8, What If? The finale to the whole series. Another one, it's almost a part 2 to What If the Watcher disappeared. I like the whole concept of the Watcher disappearing and breaking his oath and all that, like I mentioned before. But hey, we're going to center it around Captain Carter, around Howard the Duck and Darcy's kid, around Kahori. It'd be one thing if they assembled a group like the finale of the first season, like Infinity Killmonger, the T'Challa Star-Lord, Captain Carter, when she, respectable, around heroes that maybe people have some care and respect for. But all these characters that people have had no time to sit with, they've gained no love or respect or admiration for these characters, and they're the redeeming, heroes of the universe. Not to mention making Captain Carter even more powerful than she already was. It ended on a sad note here, and yeah, I can't believe we got these as episodes. So there you have it, every What If episode analyzed and grouped into these specific categories, and this basically summarizes my first overall big problem with What If. It's the lack of interesting concepts in this series. You saw it. There are only 3, I guess you could say 4 episodes in that very first category, and the numbers increased as we moved on. People don't want to sit down and watch episodes when we see the title, or you get into watching it, and there are these concepts that nobody has any attachment to, or can gain any admiration or love or care for these characters or storylines. That is where my first problem lies with this show. My second problem kind of ties into this first one, in that it's the ignorance of what fans really want for this show. I mean, come on guys, we know the interesting concepts we've always wanted with What If. We could finally see what if the other half got blipped after Infinity War? What if Winter Soldier didn't kill Tony Stark's parents? What if Gamora sacrificed Thanos on Vormir? All of these different concepts that could have been used and people would have drawn people towards What If. These concepts were right in the face for you, Marvel. These were the easiest possible ones you could do. And you can make up any storyline with what could have happened with them. Maybe you thought it was too easy or it was too similar to what we've seen before, but we all wanted this. And as you can see, as I went down these categories, as we got towards the more, least necessary episodes, it was further into the series. All these season 2 and season 3 episodes were towards the end. So as you got further, people kept getting more and more frustrated with all these episodes that we didn't need. And it was giving you more time to make these episodes, and you just went further and further down the rabbit hole of stuff we didn't want. And so there lies my second problem. It was just a complete ignorance of episodes. that we wanted but didn't get. And my third and final problem with What If. The now most powerful being in all of the multiverse is Peggy Carter, Captain Carter herself. In the beginning, starting the series off with her becoming Captain Carter instead of Steve Rogers. That is a safe episode to kick off your series. I like the direction they took with that. It was an interesting episode, but why do you need to continue her story? I get putting her in the finale because you gathered heroes from all these episodes. That was a cool little tie-in, connectivity, fight into Infinity Ultron. That was good. But let's keep bringing Captain Carter back. Let's tie her into every episode. Let's keep giving her more powers. Make her more powerful until she's the literal most powerful being in Marvel Universe. Like, it's canon now. What If is all in the multiverse. Like, it's canon. Captain Carter's the most powerful being there is. Why is she tied into every episode and concept there is? It's the Captain Carter show. And it makes you not like her character more and more the more she shows up. I had no problems with Captain Carter to begin with. And I like the episode that started the series off. I thought that was an easy episode to do, and it worked. But why do we need to make her keep coming back and stealing the show for all these episodes and concepts? Like, these episodes and concepts had problems to begin with, but you decide to throw Captain Carter in there to steal the show of those episodes and those characters to begin with. Like, I don't understand what the need to throw in Captain Carter. It's the show is, what if Captain Carter did this or became this? That's what the show is. All these infinite possibilities and scenarios and theories that all these fans dreamed of all this time. None of them had Captain Carter in it, but let's just make every scenario a Captain Carter what if. I went on a little bit of a tangent there and kind of off script because it's kind of hard to hold back my frustrations about What If and Captain Carter. I hate that I feel this way about that character and this show now, because I think I can speak for all of us when I say that the potential for this show was there. The potential for this show was so great. It was Marvel's first animated project. This literally could be anything, and it didn't really necessarily affect the ramifications of the MCU. People could just sit back, watch it with no consequences, and get to see all these scenarios that could have happened all along. But they kept trying to throw certain agendas and characters and scenarios at us that nobody wanted in the first place. And so this show overall is more frustrating than anything because of the potential it had. What If is the biggest missed opportunity from Marvel I can think of. Obviously, there's a lot of things you can say in the movies and about characters and stuff like that, because obviously, like Hulk for one, Marvel missed an opportunity with how they treated the Hulk. But as a project, as a series, if you're going to throw something at us, hey, we're going to make a What If show. And it ties in perfectly with this multiverse saga you were introducing, and give fans kind of a soft introduction at what the multiverse really was and what it could do within the Marvel Universe. You got to do a better job with it. You got to give us more interesting and engaging concepts here. But Marvel really missed it on this one. What If is officially over, and we can all say you missed, Marvel. I hope the multiverse saga can be saved, but as far as animated stuff goes, and as far as What If, this was Marvel's biggest missed opportunity.